Today we get to welcome a leader who doesn't just build systems, he builds momentum, clarity, and confidence. Please help me celebrate Jordan Templeton Harris, founder and president of Fitzgerald Built, as the newest member of our community Pay It Forward giving family. He doesn't operate as a vendor, he operates as a force multiplier, a strategic partner who helps leaders. Whether an organization is growing, transforming, or trying to get unstuck, Jordan brings the operational intelligence and accountability that turn ideas into measurable outcomes. And now, he's chosen to stand with us, to make sure no one has to face a difficult moment alone. That's what makes this partnership special. That's what makes Jordan family. Please visit his profile, share his badge, and help us welcome him the way only this community can. Welcome to the family, Jordan. We're honored to walk this mission with you.
Hey, good morning, everyone. It's me, Zach Clayton, Community Pay It Forward. Welcome to Footprints Forward for Monday, the 24th of August, which means one thing. August is already almost gone. What the hell? Seriously, when is it that, time starts to slow down a little bit? I do think it is kind of funny. And, this isn't something that you've never heard before. I think everybody said it. It takes forever to turn 16. Then between 16 and 18, this is back in my day. So, I wanted to be 18 because, I was a smoker I was a smoking idiot as a child. So I wanted to be able to buy cigarettes. That's back when you could buy cigarettes at 18 years old. So it took forever to get to 18, and then drinking legally was so important to me, and that took forever. I swear to God, the day I turned 21 was the day I turned 40. And, it went quickly that way. But I think a lot of that has to do with you cannot spend enough time with your kids, with your family, and time has a way of playing cruel jokes on you that way. But hey, we do have a very special event coming up, in which, of course, that means that time is moving way fast because we can never get enough done. But it is coming up, the 10th annual Chili Cook-Off for books and board games for Northern Colorado hospitals. We're calling out everyone from Cheyenne to Denver to Colorado Springs to Kansas to Wyoming to New Mexico, wherever. Come and join us. Come take a weekend with your family and finish it off with some great chili, great times, watch the football game, and help out some kids in the hospital when they have to come and have a hospital stay. Let's show them that, during the toughest times in your life, there's community that can be there to make an impact.
Warning, the brown cloud is approaching. Some will try to outrun it. others may not be so lucky. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun at the Chili Cook-Off for books and board games. Where the chili is hot, the flavors are bold, and Bear E has your back with the official Brown Cloud Preparedness Kit. Follow the plan, know your exits, and whatever you do, hold your breath, because this temporary pain is all for a great cause. Join us, laugh with us, survive the Brown Cloud, together at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley.
Join us November 8th at 11 a.m. for the 10th annual Chili Cook-Off for books and board games at our home field, Key Largo Lounge, where our small market team is making a huge statement. Scan the code for tickets and sponsorship information. Okay, so we've got a pretty busy show today, so I'm going to stop talking and get right into it. Couple things that we have going on. Please be prepared. CommunityPayItForward.us is probably going to be going offline for a day or two just because we've got some things that we need to do. We're trying to find a way to get them done without shutting down the website, but I don't think we're going to be able to. So there's a chance that we're going to lose the website for, for a day or two, maybe later on today, maybe tomorrow. Up into Wednesday. We're hoping to be done by Wednesday to have it back up and running. So just to let you know, we're going through a lot of changes right now. And that means a lot of work. And to do a lot of this work, we need to, unfortunately, there's a little bit of pain with this work. So if we lose Community Pay It Forward, it's only for a day or two. We'll be right back. But there are some changes being made. There's changes because we're trying to simplify, okay? We want to tell the story better. While it's still up, I need you to do me a favor. Go to CommunityPayItForward.us, look at the homepage. Let me know if the program's starting to make a little bit more sense to you, okay? Our goal is to try to help everyone. We cannot accomplish that goal if you don't understand what we're doing. So I'm hoping you see what we're doing and it's starting to make sense. So please go to CommunityPayItForward.us and reach out to me. Give me your suggestions. Give me your thoughts. This is my card. It's got all of my information on it. You can send me a text at any point in time with 970-692-1151. 970-692-1151. This is a little bit of the explanation on what's going on with our new Mission Partners program. New names, simplified, but making a hell of a lot more sense. Good day, all my friends. How are you doing out there? Hey, I want to take a little bit of time today and walk you through two very important documents that we've created over the last couple of days. These are the heart of what we do at Community Pay It Forward. One is for the mission partners. These are the individuals who have come to us and said, you know what? Yes, we would love to work with the giving partners, with the business partners that you have all over the world and make their business count. These are nonprofit organizations, families who are in need, kids who are trying to raise money for school, church, club activities, all these things, charity outreach, veterans causes, and just community improvement services, things like that, where we're just trying to help people improve the lives of everyone. And we do that by simply teaming with our wonderful giving partners, who has the second document that you're going to see. And the giving partners, they're the ones who have decided that a portion of your purchase with their business, be it coaching or a product, no matter what it is, a portion of that is going to go to support the mission partner that you, their new customer, has chosen. The business does not choose. Community Pay It Forward does not choose. This is your money, your heart. You make that decision. You tell us who you choose to support. They work together. They tell the story of how this program became to be, how it works, and how people can join the family. I want you to see what you see on the page, and I'll tell you what we mean for you to understand on with those visuals. We're putting these two documents up on the screen so you can see exactly what your eyes see, and we can try to explain what we mean with the wording that's already on there. So please, if you have any questions, put the questions in the chat, and we will get back to you as soon as possible. While this portion is recorded, I am still sitting at the controls right now, so I can answer your questions immediately. So if you do have a question, please reach out to me through the chat right now. Then do me a favor and like, share, subscribe, share our message so we can get this out so the Community Pay It Forward program can be what it can be. And that is the process, the program that is here and built to support everyone. So let's get started with the Mission Partner Guide. This is our Mission Partner Guide. Once again, this is for the people that we attempt to raise money for. Nay, not attempt. This is for the people who have asked us for support financially. And what we can do here together is team with our giving partners and make sure that their sales, their services, their programs, their products become a means of support to help people stand up, stand out, and get back on their feet. So when you first look at the page, you'll see the Community Pay It Forward name right at the top. We hope you feel welcomed here. Underneath, you'll see the words "Join the Family." Look, that's not a slogan. I don't mean this in any way except for I want you to join the family. No matter what area you join, I want you to become part of the Community Pay It Forward family. We have four different programs where you can join, and that is the Mission Partner, which you're seeing right on the screen right now, the Giving Partners, which you'll see next, the Community Partners, which are the ones who volunteer and shop and support the programs and support the people who need help, and then of course the Sponsorship Partners who help us to keep our lights on, keep what we do going in the right direction. Look, we're giving away at least 70% of everything that comes into this business referral wise. So we do need a little bit of extra help to make sure that it goes well and goes smoothly. So this is the truth of what we're building. We're not creating a directory. We're building a family. We're building a place where people who are facing hard times do not have to face them alone. When I woke up from my motorcycle accident, and I do not mean this to a slight of anybody who was standing there beside my bed, but the first thing I thought of was, how scary would it be if when I woke up, there was nobody there? And that scared me to death. And so I wanted to make sure that we could build a program that made sure nobody has to go through that. That we could build this program and we could make sure that everyone has the support that they need. to not just have the will, but has the resources to get up and get going again. Right under the title, you'll see the beginning of our story, which tells you about the motorcycle accident that happened to me on August 14th, 2014. And again, the thought process is no one should have to face hard times alone. Look, everyone deserves support without having to make sure that, we pay a ton of money to make sure that happens. The motorcycle wreck accident is the moment that changed my life and eventually created this program. I walked away from the accident with the new understanding that people need help, people deserve help, and they should not have to open their wallets just to provide. That can't be the only way to help people, is to open their wallets and hand out cash to people. There's so many other things that we can do to support people. And it begins with telling stories. This document explains how the belief came with the program. It says that when people do business with our giving partners, their everyday purchases quietly become support for a mission partner they choose. We share your story. Your community shows up. And that's the heartbeat of the entire program. You tell people what you're facing. You tell people what you're trying to do. And their everyday choices become the support you need. They do not have to donate directly. They don't have to sign up for anything complicated. They simply live their life and choose a giving partner. That's it. That's all it takes. All we will accept from them is a receipt. We do not take money for you. We will never take a donation in your name. Never. I have got great friends in this program that I have known for years and years and years. I will not take monetary donations for their program. All I'll take is a receipt from closed business of our giving partners. You'll also see that we have a website, communitypayitforward.us, and we're working on getting the app relaunched. We turn both of those into the support you can count on. This is exactly what the website does. It's your home, it's your platform. It's where your mission lives. It's where people can find you, learn about you, and support you, contact you. And yes, we even attach it to your portal where they can make direct donations. Next on that, you'll see the app. The app is described as growing and expanding companion. It is a tool that will continue to evolve. As updates roll out, supporters will have more ways to find you and track their impact. Look, the app's not finished. It's growing. It's becoming stronger every month. And it's one of the reasons why we need a community partner, a community member who volunteers and who understands apps. It's just going to be one more doorway for people to discover your mission. Together, the website and the app form what the document lists as a powerful ecosystem. They connect businesses and supporters and missions. They create impact that grows every day. That's what you see on the page, a simple layout, a clear message, a promise that you're not alone. Now the document takes and moves into a section called How It Works. you'll see 4 steps that lay out in a row. They're simple and clear. Hopefully, they're clear to everyone, and they're very easy to follow. Step 1 is choose. Choose a customer, or you as a customer. Choose a giving partner. One that's the beginning of the journey. You need a program, a product, a service. You pick a business that's part of our family. You do business with that program. Simple. Step 2 says show. They show us the receipt. And then they pick a mission partner they want to support. Are they one of your supporters? Are they one of the people who follow your program? Or are they just now learning about your program and saying, wow, I've never heard of this program, and I want to learn more about them. I think I want to support them. Why not? It's just for a receipt. I made a purchase I needed to make anyway. Let's throw them a little money and learn more about them. I wish this program was around when I needed it. It's a way for people to take and learn and love and support what you do. Look, they don't pay any extra. They don't fill out complicated forms. All we need are 3 things. We need the receipt, we need their email address, and we need their name. And that way we can send them an email once the money is sent. That's it. They simply show the receipt to us and give us your name, say that I support this organization. That's it. It's very simple. Step 3 says give. The giving partner sends us a small referral for that sale. Okay, so we take the receipt and we give it back to the giving partner. They give us a referral for that sale. This is like, we're going to give you 10% of the total ticket. We'll give you $5 for every sale. We'll give you, a set amount. We'll give you a percentage. We'll give you, every time somebody signs up with us, we'll give you a portion. Every time they make a payment, we'll give you a portion. Whatever that portion is, whatever the company, the giving partner decides to do, your choice of the giving partner, of the mission partner, will receive that money. It's a small portion, but it's a portion that makes a difference. It's agreed on by us and the partner. It doesn't hurt the business, and it doesn't change the price for the customer. You don't pay more at their store for this to happen. Step 4 says impact. We turn a majority of that referral, at least 70%, into direct support for the program that your customer chooses, that the supporter chooses. Again, this could be somebody who's followed you for years, or this could be somebody who just now heard about you and has decided, I want to know more and I want to support this program. Let's tell your story. Let's get people excited about who you're helping and what you're doing. This is printed right there on the page. At least 70%. That's real. It's measurable. It's a support that you can count on. And there's no restrictions on what you do with that money. If you need to use it for payroll, use it for payroll. If you need to use it for marketing, use it for marketing. If you need to use it to send out to people who need help, use it to send out to people who you help. The document then explains the membership. It says your fee funds the storytelling, promotion, and platform work that brings support to you. It's separate from and much smaller than the donations that come back to you and your program if you work with us. It reminds you that nonprofits regularly pay for fundraising and visibility services, podcast time, blog features, and more. It tells you that partners who use what is included often see returns well beyond what they pay to join. And folks, we're talking about $25 for a year. Just $25. You basically think of it this way. You're paying me $25 to add it to the program. I don't want to become rich off you. But I do have to add you, and there's stuff to do. And just think of it this way. With that $25, we can do more to make you more successful because I can actually pay people I owe money to. So, the old saying, if we can help each other, well, we'll be better off. Of course, then it's going to get to the page on why. Why become a mission partner? You'll see several short statements, each with a simple statement. Look, this is real support. It explains that every purchase from our community becomes direct, ongoing help for your mission. It becomes help telling your story. And the second one, built-in storytelling. Says your story reaches people through our website, app, blog, packed podcasting. Our mission is built to help you and even other marketing aspects you have. We want to make sure that we're telling people everything that you've got going. We want everyone that you use to be supported by what we are offering. It says being part of the family shows supporters your mission is real and it's active. We make sure that you are a registered 501c3. We ask for a few references. We love it when you send us stories from followers or supporters or people you've helped, because that shows people a lot about who you are and what you do. This is a caring network. It says you join businesses and neighbors who already believe in showing up for each other. People come to Community Pay It Forward because they want to help others. They come here because they know that their purchases can make a difference for someone else. Why limit yourself? Why be outside of the program? Think of it this way. If people find you on Google, if people find out about you on Google, you're not going to get support from them automatically. If they find you in Community Pay It Forward, that means people are looking to support organizations like yours. And this is support from anywhere. Your giving partners and supporters do not need to be local to make a difference in your program. They can shop anywhere in this crazy world and support you no matter where you are at. It's on us to make sure that they care about you and your program, what you do. And we will work to make sure that happens. Look, as you can see, it's all printed right there clearly. It's all part of the picture and it's all part of the promise. And now we've got to the mission partner levels. You'll see 3 levels laid out: story, voice, and spotlight. No more stones. There's no more tanzanite, ruby, and diamond. It's story, voice, and spotlight. Each level has its own price. Each level has its own benefits. Starting at $25 for a year. Each level is designed to meet you where you are. The story level is $25 per year. It includes 70% of every direct referral coming back to your program. If people pick you, you get 70% of what, no matter what it is. If it's 10% of a meal, you know what? It might be $3, $4, $5. If it's $1,000 referral for a sold home, you get $700. The percentage does not change because the price changes. You get 70%. That's it. You get 70%. Done. It includes your logo, your contact details, and your social media links on a shared landing page with other partners. It includes 1 placement category, 3 keywords or hashtags. It includes 250-word organization bio and a 500-word business bio. It includes a 30-minute video and podcast recording. It includes a story partner badge. The document says this level is best for startups, small businesses, families, or organizations beginning their journey. We understand this is new. Maybe this is something you don't understand what you're looking at. That's fine. This is a great place to get started. The voice level is $25 monthly, $100 quarterly, or $250 yearly. So let's be honest here. I think that you want to go for, save a little bit of money when you do the $200, but hey, it includes 75% of every direct referral coming back to your program. You get more placement categories, more storytelling space, and it includes blog features, 30-minute video and podcast recording. And it includes a voice partner badge. This level is better for organizations ready for deeper storytelling and more visibility. Look, I'm not stingy with my podcast. If you need to get on and tell people about something you've got coming up, I want you on the podcast. If you're a family member, you take priority over everything else. Family members come first. The spotlight level is $550. It says monthly, but that's not true. It's only $500 yearly. It's $50 monthly and $150 quarterly. It includes 80% of every directed referral coming back to your program. It includes full profile on a dedicated page with your logo, headshot, contact information, and social links. It includes 5 placement categories and 10 keywords or hashtags. Those are so important because that allows people to look using different words to find out what they need. It includes unlimited space to tell your story. And it includes a 60-minute video and podcast. It includes 60-second weekly spot on pack programming. And it includes the ability to host your own show on our network. It includes automatic sponsorship for all community pay it forward events. And it includes a Spotlight Partner Badge. The document will tell you right there, this is the package for people who are ready to go all in for the full professional presence and ongoing media support exposure. We're not big. We're not big, but damn it, we will do everything that we can to tell people about you. You become a Spotlight partner, a Spotlight mission, and we are going to, people are going to get tired of hearing us talk about you, which is a good thing, because you know what? I'm tired of Red Wing commercials, or Red Bull commercials, sorry, but I still know every single one of them. At the bottom of the page, it just asks you to join. Are you ready to join the family? Let us build a stronger community together. It gives you my phone number, my email, and it gives you the website. Share your story. Let a community lift you. Your story, their support, one community. No one has to go it alone when we all come together. Look, that's the mission partner document. That's it. You see it in all of its glory. Everything in one page. If you would like this document, please send me a message today and I will share it with you immediately. Zach, Z-A-K, at communitypayitforward.us, Z-A-K, at communitypayitforward.us. I've decided to go on ahead and make a change, and what we're going to do is we're going to play the Joel White show right now. And then tomorrow night, we're going to talk about the giving partners on community impact. We've also got our brand new friend, Robin, who's going to talk to you about breathing, exercise, yoga, light, and grounding. Very important things to make your life better without prescriptions. Because believe me when I say this, a life addicted to prescriptions, you'll realize there's a better way out there. So, if you have any questions, please put them in the comments. I am sitting right here, even though this portion was recorded. You know how you can tell? Because check this out. Because I'm right here. I told you. Not anywhere. So yes, we are live. So if you do have any questions, please put it in the comments. And please like, share, subscribe. Help us grow. Help us get our word out. Because our word is support. We look to support you and others in your community who need us to be there. There's only one way that can happen, is if you and I work together. You and I work together with the next person beside you, or the person down the street. We can do miracle things if we work together. Again, we will talk about the new giving partner sheet tomorrow night on community impact. It's brand new names, brand new verbiage, but same program as it's always been. We're just really trying to make sure that you understand what we're trying to do. And so it's been a long road. It's been a tough road. But we're not going to stop until we are there to help you and others who need us to be there. So please, if you can, support us. Any donation is appreciated because that will help us keep going. We're also looking for people to do what they do best.
Hey friends, I've been thinking we all have our strengths, right? There are things I'm great at and things I'm definitely not great at. I can talk to anyone, anywhere, but ask me to add something to a website or an app. Yeah, that's where things get a little messy. Oops, I love speaking, I love sharing stories. But social media, all those hashtags, algorithms, trends, that's a jungle I still haven't mapped out. Now, coming up with ideas that bring people together, that's my sweet spot. But bookkeeping, let's just say numbers, and I have agreed to stay in separate corners. And you know what? That's okay, because someone out there is good at those things. And when we work together, that's when the magic happens. Community Pay It Forward has never been about one person. It's a program built by many to support even more. Every single one of us brings something special to the table. We all have talents that make us strong on our own. But imagine how powerful we become when we combine them. That's the heart of Community Pay It Forward. Your skills, my skills, our hearts, working side by side to make a real difference. So tell me, what are you good at? Let's discover it together. Visit communitypayitforward.us and join the movement.
Hello world, my name is Z, or you can call me Mr. Z. I am a web developer, and I am also a consultant at Z World Webs. My one goal is to develop custom websites that are specifically catered to your organization's needs. I completely understand that building a website is an exhilarating, exciting, and significant step in connecting with your audience. Your organization has Z potential to make a meaningful impact, whether it's supporting animal rights, advocating for equality, combating human trafficking, or honoring the brave individuals who have served our country. Your mission is too important to be held back by the challenges a website can present, and I am here to ensure that your website works for you, not against you. Whether it's maintaining, developing, or redeveloping a custom website that is specifically catered to your needs. And with that being said, I would be more than delighted to learn more about your organization and, of course, develop a website Z World is waiting for. Thank you.
You know what's kind of weird? I never noticed that it has like that little.
I love it, mate. I love it.
Yeah, until I've actually
dude.
listened to it with the earbud, I never really noticed that before. So
Oh, mate,
that was kind of
it's
interesting.
so catchy. The other thing as well on my YouTube page is literally just the entrance video. And it says it's been played 42 times. I've probably played it 38 times. Just sat there. Play again.
Yeah. I don't know how good a thing that is that they forgo watching the show. They just listen to the theme over and over again.
I love
Hey, you know what?
jingle.
Whatever tickles the pickle, right? So,
Right,
hey,
yeah,
everybody,
yeah.
how's it going? Zach and Joel here again. It is August. Yeah,
Yeah.
it is August. Wow. And we're here with the Rewired for Men show. We got brand new. Well, it's not a brand new month. The month's almost over, but we're coming into a brand new season. Kids are back in school here in the U.S. Are they back in the school there in the U.K.?
Not quite yet, mate. They've literally got about another 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Literally. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
literally looking at the calendar myself. Yeah.
Yeah, do they do the same stupid thing there where they start kids on a Thursday?
I can answer that. I can look at me wall. Yeah. So they actually started exactly the same. You're absolutely right. They start back on Thursday the 3rd of September. Because
Monday's
the bank holiday in the UK. Tuesday and Wednesday are inset days, and then they're on the Thursday. Like the week's over.
Yeah, I know for a fact we never started school on a Thursday. They were going to ruin our week, and they were going to make it last the entire week. Okay, so if there was a bank holiday on Monday, they were going to do it the week before because they sure as hell weren't going to delay it for a week. You know, they wanted us in there and they wanted us miserable. So,
yeah.
But you know, it's so weird how school is different, and I know that when we had the foster kid in here, it scares me. It really scares me the path on what these kids are learning and not learning nowadays.
Mate, I couldn't agree more. You know, a couple of interesting points that you picked up on there. One is around the holidays. Lots of different decisions are being made in the UK which aren't necessarily for the best of the education system going forwards. And one of them has been a shift to basically the government selling off the schools. So I think all this started in America, the old academy idea. So an academy is a company that runs X amount of schools. So this has come more and more the case in the UK. And unfortunately, what that means is that it's a business that only wants money. They don't really care about anything else, such as the welfare of the staff or generally the welfare of the pupils. So that's one issue coming in. The other thing which happened as well is a lot of decisions at one point, I might be wrong with this, but I'm happy to be corrected. A lot of the decisions around how things were structured in the school was kind of done overall by the borough or central government or whatever when the holidays were. And at some point, they gave the local boroughs or local councils the power to set their own holiday periods. You can see where this is going, can't you? So what you get is you've got parents who've got, let's say, an older kid in a school in one borough, and they've got a younger kid in school in the other borough, and guess what? Sometimes the holidays are at different times. So
yeah.
Like, how are you supposed to navigate that? It's hard enough as it is. So
they're in the UK, are the teachers responsible for their own stuff in the classroom? I know that the parents are supposed to supply the kid with, you know, pencils, pens, notebooks, and stuff like that. But if they don't have them, our teachers here in America are responsible for getting them for the kids, and the teachers are stuck with the bill. And I think that is so disgusting when we pass so many taxes that are supposed to go to schools, and yet it doesn't go to like the actual classrooms. It goes to rebuild a school or something. I think that's something that needs to be re-evaluated because, you know, look, teachers make a decent living as to a fast food worker, you know, but the service they provide is so undeniably important, important, and you know, the pressures that we put on them a lot of times just have to do with the pressures that we put on them. You can't teach this. My son says all the time, Joel, Dad, I want to keep teaching. I love teaching. But that means I can't come back to America because American parents will not let kids learn anymore. And he's right. He's right.
Yeah, part of that comes into it, but the other issue you've got in the UK is there's so many garbage changes all the time and paperwork, and you can't do this, and you can't do that, and you can't do the other that. And again, with a shift towards academies, there's a lot of teachers now who just fall out the profession pretty quickly as soon as they qualify. Or they get 2 years under the belt and then they disappear on the international circuit. Because generally what we see in the UK as well, the respect towards teachers it's just declined dramatically. And that's not just the lack of respect from the kids, it's also from management as well. So they just don't really feel supported. And again, you know, that can vary from where parents are. And I'm being very mindful as a, you know, I word things here, but I feel there's almost been, and this can happen quite early on, there's almost been a shift of where teachers just don't teach anymore. They're actually parenting kids as well. because unfortunately there's issues going on in the family, and might not necessarily be the money or the resources to help those parents become better parents, and most of the time they might not even care. So all of it just can fall onto the teacher, where they can't just teach a subject. You know what I mean? They're actually teaching kids. And, you know, I saw myself as teaching kids, which is great. But I'm not there to play mum and dad necessarily full time for those kids in the room. And, you know, it is a quite difficult one. You know, for me, when I taught abroad before, when I came back to the UK from following mental health concerns in 2013, I got my head back on my shoulders. And what I did actually make a promise to myself, and by 2014, to do supply work, because I felt if I didn't get back in front of the class, I never would get in front of anybody ever again. I'd be frightened to death by it. So my way of doing a bit of supply work was to get me, you know, push myself way out of my comfort zone and stick myself in front of the class. And what I realized quite quickly is that I was very good. I was still very good at what I did, despite obviously going through mental health concerns. But the first thing what came back to me is the subject I was qualified in teaching, which kind of worked out previously before mental health concerns, was IT. I didn't particularly like the subject. What I actually liked was teaching the kids. So, but then I thought, you know, all the extra crappy paperwork you've got to done, I don't really get involved in that. And the other issue as well, it's almost like, this is my perception, my view, not yours. This, you know, I'm not taking full ownership of it. It's almost like what the government have done over time in the UK. I feel they've dumbed down the education system so they can dumb down the intelligence of the kids. And it's more about ticking boxes and league tables than it is actually the quality of the education of that child. And again, I'm taking full ownership for this. I feel the nature of education is more geared towards the educational needs of a girl than it is for a boy. So, you know, as boys, I feel and I know that we are very much wired around hands-on, observation, getting stuck in there, competitiveness, blah, blah. Nowadays, you know, there's no competition in the classroom anymore. Everybody's a winner. Do you know what I mean? And a lot of it's not hands-on anymore. It's like, look at the board and watch this little video. And it's like, but to a boy, that doesn't mean anything. We need a bit of hands-on. We need a bit of get stuck in. And the other thing which lacks a lot in the UK, and again, this has always been a trend and perhaps accelerated, lack of male role models. There is such a lack of male role models in the education environment. And very, very little when it comes down to primary school. So it can be really difficult for a boy who perhaps doesn't have a useful, healthy role model at home, that they don't really get one during primary school, which is probably more needed than secondary school, because that early years is extremely important. And when they get to secondary school, they might not necessarily get a male teacher. And if you do get a male teacher, that male teacher is constrained by what he can do from the perspective of equal education.
Right.
It has a massive impact, generally on kids being dumbed down, but more so on the educational perspective of boys. And again, I'm taking full ownership of this, Zach. I'm not criticising, saying, oh, it's girls' fault. I'm not saying that. I'm coming from the perspective of going through the education system as a boy and what it was like for me when I was a teacher in the system. And the other thing which was interesting is, I love this, and we just go off on tangent. It's great.
This wasn't even close to what we were going to talk about.
Yeah, but it's bloody important, because obviously, you know,
it's very important. Very important.
Back in both countries. I think there'll be parents out there who listen to this going, yeah, nodding their head, because their kids are either going to be starting school in September or moving into a newer school, like high school or secondary school, whatever you call it, or moving into a new year group. And I think these are absolutely paramount things to raise and reflect upon from that degree. So I think generally what's happening is, you know, kids are being dumbed down around their education and almost being held back. But I also think what goes on, and don't know if this lands in America, there used to be a rule in the education system in the past where businesses did not dictate, the corporate world, businesses did not dictate the education system. Like kids were given the ability to have creative skills and cook and fix stuff and blah, 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 and da-da-da, and paint. But unfortunately, it seems the world we live in is that you are being bred by the influence of corporate world around what you should do, what you are going to do and not do. And it's not right. You know, kids should have the flexibility to realize what's in the heart of what they want to do to express themselves and to go out there. Do you know what I mean? And it lacks massively.
Look, I actually dread the thought of you know, there being any type of collapse, because, you know, we don't know how to communicate with each other one-on-one anymore. It's all done social media or computer.
Yeah.
We don't get out and we don't talk to each other anymore face to face. Kids don't know how to write anymore.
Yeah.
You know, because everything's done on a tablet or on a computer. Cursive is something that I had to reteach myself cursive, and I started doing this about 3 years ago, reteaching myself how to write in cursive, because I completely forgot how to do that. Not that that's not that that's a skill that you absolutely need. It's just a skill that, you know, falling back on is a good one to have. But Joel, the one thing that absolutely pisses me off, and I talked to somebody about this the other day, and it's the fact that, look, you cannot change history. What happened in history happened. It happened. This isn't like, you know, science, when there's a guess, and they're going to test it and see if that happens, and if not, they're going to tell you if so. No, this is history. It happened, okay? If you want to, if we're going to teach kids about history, we need to teach them everything that happened.
Yeah.
Okay? And say, you want to say, okay, here in America, there's a thought that, you know, the 2020 election was questioned by, you know, candidate Donald Trump. He questioned about the validity of it. That's fine. That is fact. To say it was stolen, that's impossible to prove. Okay? It's never been proven. It's been taken to court, all this other stuff. There's never been a court that's even questioned whether it's been done or not. But I'm not going to say it hasn't been, because I don't know I have my feeling, but I don't know for sure. History proves to me it did not. But that doesn't mean it did not, okay? But what it does prove is Joe Biden was in office for those 4 years.
Yeah.
And in those 4 years, Americans got dumb and never mind. And we ended up making a mistake again. And, but the truth is, you know, we need to teach kids about slavery. It happened. Okay? It happened.
Yeah.
It's there. It's something that we wish, most Americans wish never happened. But we can't put it in a closet like an ugly child and say, we're done, we're hiding you. We don't want the neighbors to see you.
Absolutely. And you know what's interesting in there is that, again, I'm going from my perspective, complete ownership of this, that when you do history in the UK or English, they're still doing the same bloody textbooks that I did when I was a kid. What's all that about, Zach?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's sort of nonsense. But also the version of history they're taught is the white man UK version, that we beat everybody else. And it's like, hold on a minute. We did some horrendous atrocities as well, which are factual and out there, but they don't kind of get taught. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's really important that when you do history, you talk about the other side of it. And I'll give you a classic example. This is off piece but related. Stockport. So in Stockport is a city not far from where I live. Is it a town? Stockport town. It's a town. It's not far from where I live, and it was a centre of the world for hat making. Yeah, and that's what they did. They were a centre for hats, and they did all this, blah blah blah, and da da da. And at one point in your textbooks, and also in the exhibitions themselves in Stockport, they tell you the nice side of hat making, yeah? And when the staff got to a point where they wanted to refurbish the hat museum in Stockport, they actually decided to actually give the full story of hat making which is also the side which is quite barbaric around the chemicals they used and the slavery behind it and this, that, and the other. They did it. And it was just profound to learn that other side. It makes you question things. It gives a reaction. It's supposed to do. And I feel we're so drawn on, A, we don't want to offend people, and B, we just want to whitewash over stuff and give a rhetoric of events. And I think, unfortunately, where that pushes into is history is based on enough people at the time deciding what the rhetoric is, and then it gets stuck that way. But it doesn't mean it's only that way. It's not saying it's right or wrong, but there's always another way of looking at a situation, a scenario. And for me, I wonder what history is going to look like in the future when people look back to what we see at the moment with the conflicts in Iran and Israel and September the 11th. And again, I'm not, this is very territory which a lot of people disagree on. But maybe there are other versions of those events that are factual, but don't necessarily get taken into account now. But why can't they be looked at as history in the future? Do you know what I mean?
And yeah, exactly. I know exactly what you mean, because that's one of the things that I fear the most. Are they going to be able to learn about what happened right now, or are we going to take and write two books? One book is going to be in a state like, we'll say, Oklahoma, and another book's going to be in a state like Colorado, because they've got two different aversion things that happen every day. I wish that was a joke, but it's not. Oklahoma, I've got a dear friend who is moving to Oklahoma because it sits more towards his political beliefs.
Yeah.
And quite frankly, that's sad, because if you feel that uncomfortable to live in a state because politically you feel like an outcast, that's just sad, brother. That is sad. Now, of course, I would move to Oklahoma and I would definitely feel like an outcast when I was away from family. I've got, thanks to Adrian, we've got kids and grandkids in Oklahoma. I'd probably stay there and never go outside any other time, but, So they all know that I'm crazy when it comes to it, but...
Yeah, I hear, and all this is really, really relevant. And, the other interesting thing, again, whilst we're on this topic, I love going to museums and learning about industry of the past. So again, which is there's off piece, but again, all this relates together. There's an artist, a humanist. He calls himself a humanist, called AI WEI, and he's basically been he can't live in China anymore because he's really upfront in his art, challenging the Chinese government factually about things he just really don't want to go there about. But he's also then gone around the world making art pieces, again challenging countries' views, and they really don't like it. And he's put together for the first time in Manchester, again where I live, this incredible display of massive art installations, really challenging the rhetoric behind events. And it's like, when you go into this massive room, it's got all these different pieces everywhere, and they're incredibly well built, but very profound. And it's like on one side of the wall are all these have been put on Lego pieces put into the wall, showing all the bombs that have ever been created in the world, with the most destructive ones toward the top. And they're life size. You want to see the size of some of these? It's like, what is the world going to? And then towards the end, it's showing that they're still making them today. And certain countries we deem to be the good guys are actually the terrorists because of how many, like the UK and the US, you're making these. It's like, what why? And the other thing he's got as well, which is very profound, he's got a massive sculpture of a migrant raft with migrants in this boat made out of rubber that is collected from these. And it's huge. And it's raising the idea, that migrants are people that are trying to survive, man. Do you know what I mean? They've left their own country because of fear or whatever, and they've got on a boat which is not fit for purpose, traveled across the ocean. Jesus, these people are desperate. They're not doing it for a luxury cruise. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Coming across from the UK. They're like, hey guys, let's go and do this. This is a great idea, isn't it? And then when they arrive here, they got all these twisted people in the UK saying, send them back. The migrants like, hold on a minute. All the people in the UK are migrants as well, because the original people in the UK are Picts. They got wiped out centuries ago, sir. So it's just ironic. And you know what the interesting thing is? When you look where these people have come from, we've fucked up the country, as in the UK, through conflict, dropping bombs on it, and the US has, or we've sold it to the other side. So the irony of it is the UK-US troops get bombed and shot at by their own bullets that got made in the UK and the US. What's the world coming through, Zach?
I just got a notice that came across one of my feeds that we have now taken and made the Strait of Hormuz a U.S. territory.
Yeah, good luck with that one. Let me know how that goes.
We did what? Well, it's kind of like the Strait of America as opposed to the Strait of Mexico. We're not the only ones who call this. Hey, you know what? I want to call the mountains George. I'm allowed to do that. I can call the mountains George. I can walk up to the mountain, call him George. How's it going today, George? How you doing? But that doesn't mean everybody else is going to. You can't just take and it's ridiculous. And so we've made a body of water a territory.
Oh, dude.
Huh?
Did you pour green gel into it to change the colour of it, like you've done at the outside the wherever it's called?
Oh yeah. Painted American blue. Yeah, American flag blue. Yeah, that thing is that's
turned all green and nasty outside.
Oh man,
outside it.
Yeah, that thing was just a mess. So. But this is something that it floors me that all of a sudden education became something that can be debated. And this is what one of the things that cracks me up is that the one side that talks about during COVID how we ruined kids in school and everything don't want to teach the kids anything that's correct. It's like, wait a minute, so you wanted them to go to school? And look, I mean, if you want to teach your kid, if you want your child to learn with Christian values and all this stuff, send them to a church school, okay? I won't say a damn thing about it. But if my grandsons go to a school and you're teaching them about a God, I'm going to be upset. Not because I'm a Muslim or anything else, but there are discrepancies between history and the Bible.
Yeah.
I want my kid to know what was proven, not what you are saying was written in a book. And I'm sorry about it. And I don't mean to offend anybody. That's not what I'm here to do. But look, the truth is the Bible has never changed history. Okay? The Bible has never changed history. History has changed the Bible.
Yeah. No, absolutely. There's a really interesting point with this as well. The education system is set up to numb people down, where your grades are based on your ability to regurgitate stuff you've learned in the classroom or from a textbook, not necessarily to think outside the box and challenge me. And like I said before, they're still using English texts that I studied when I was a kid. This is how pissed poor the education system is in the UK. The other thing as well is it gears up all kids with the main goal of kids go to college and then they go to university. A lot of kids don't want to study to go to college and university. If they want to go learn a trade, they might not necessarily have the intelligence to regurgitate stuff from a book. But if you give them an engine, they'll strip it down and rebuild it again at the age of 15, 16. But unfortunately, they're not given that opportunity and what you get in the UK is that a lot of kids go to I don't know what the name is for them, but hands-on colleges or tech colleges or whatever,
Yeah, tech.
Where they want to use
tech
skills.
Schools.
Because there's a massive issue in the UK where there is a lack of people who have trained skills at a particular profession, like a mechanic or a plumber or electrician or whatever. Massive shortages, yeah. So because the education system is geared towards you go to university and get a piece of paper. So a lot of these kids, they actually don't continue in that journey and get into something like I said, like a tech college or whatever. But unfortunately, because the government over in its wisdom has raised the cost of living and raised national insurance stuff, a lot of the workplaces don't want to offer the placements to the kids, so they can't do the qualifications. And it's like, what is going on in the world where it's just noirish? And what's been happening, again, this is my personal take, what I've heard, colleges are actually sending some of these kids abroad to do their work placements, paying for it to bring them back because it's the only way that they can get them to the end of the course for that kid to get where they want to be. And these kids are being discredited against, discriminated against, because they don't want to go to university because it's not their learning style. They get a piece of paper where they come out the other side in 3 years' time. There's no jobs. You know what I mean? There's no jobs.
Yeah, and
because all the jobs are in, you need your hands to learn a skill, not just your head. So it's so ludicrous. It really is.
And we've got a wonderful program here in the Community Pay It Forward program, where what they do is she helps underprivileged students get into a college or a trade school.
Yeah.
Because she realizes college is great for what I want to do, but you know what? I want to be a truck driver. That's what I want to do. I want to go see the country. Yeah. I don't want to have to rent a home because I can live in a truck, work, live. I'm single. I'm not tied down. I'm just going to make a good living. I'm going to push the road. I'm going to go see everything I can see.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a truck driver. Perfect. That's what you don't need college for that. And you shouldn't spend the money and have that. And let's be honest, as sad as it is, these 4-year degrees are now, they've become also ran. There's nothing to them anymore that you can't get. The one thing that upsets me the most is you got people, and again, I don't know what it's like over there, but you've got people who serve the country over here, and then they come and they try to get into the private sector, and they're told that they need to have some type of a college degree. And my argument with that is, wait a minute, they were working on multi-trillion-dollar weaponry. Multi-trillion, our government spends $50,000 for a freaking hammer. Okay?
Yeah, so, let's not go there. Go on.
In theory, these young people were supposed to be working on the best of the best equipment, and you're going to tell them that they can't work on your equipment without a degree. That makes no sense to me. I think that, that's something that I just argue with.
Yeah. None of it sort of makes sense. Again, it's bureaucracy bullshit. There's a lot of migrants who do come to this country where they are educated and they're really qualified in their own country. They're professors, blah, blah, blah.
Doctors.
The doctors, they got a piece of paper to come here and the UK government or whoever goes, oh, no, you've got to have our piece of paper. We don't accept your piece of paper. Yet there's jobs for these people here. It's like, oh no, your piece of paper don't match ours. But yet they're probably twice as bad fucking doctor than what we've got in our own hospitals here. Do you know what I mean? Or engineer, and they can't work because you haven't got the right piece of paper, I'm afraid. You need to go back to college and do 6 years. But I'm 35. Oh no, sorry. I haven't got the right piece of paper.
Yep. Again, we were working with somebody who was a college professor in Brazil. And when she got to the U.S., with promise of a job. and she was asked to come here to, you know, to teach. And when she got here, she was told, "Oh, but we need you to go back to school first." And she was like, "I can't afford to go to school. I just moved here with everything I've got." And so now what she does is she teaches migrants how to speak the language and get a diploma or a GED, the GED, so they can continue their, you know, their pathway to success. And it's a beautiful program. Look, I agree with you. We are, you know, we hear about all of these positions that are open that we need people to be good at. We need people to do things. Yet we don't allow people to go out and get those jobs. It doesn't make any sense to me. Hey, y'all, this is a wonderful podcast that I've been listening to lately. It's called Vlogging Through History. And it's really, really cool because it is he's a conservative individual who will sit there and watch any history show. And he will tell you actual facts about it. No Beautiful. Bias, no anything. But I listened to him talking about the Civil War. I've listened to him talk about you know, the Independence War, about JFK era. I mean, the guy is a history professional. He actually still goes as an archaeologist and does digs and stuff. So I mean, the guy is he's a fun listen to. Really, it is. But I mean, he's talking about. You know, there was one thing that was going on about how they were trying to whitewash some of the things that happened in the South, and in slavery, how they were trying to convince us that slavery was good for the black population. And that is just, I'm sorry, that is such a stupid and obscene and asinine comment, that slavery was good for the black population. I mean, you could talk for 15 straight hours using a bullhorn, and all I'm going to do is shake my head and call you an idiot. I'm sorry, there's nothing good about slavery.
Mate, no, not at all. Absolutely not. And going back again, what's really interesting, going back to what I talked about, the AI guy, the Chinese humanism. He raised some really compelling bits where he basically taught us about the whole British Empire, that it was, it only, you know, the people only gained from that are the minority, but yet look at how much destruction they caused during that period of time and after. And when you look at it, which is very good, you know, it's a factual thing it talks about, that a lot of problems we have over land between countries, these boundaries were drawn up by the white guys, you know, the British, the French, whatever it is, at the end of First World War, going, well, that's what you're going to have, and that's the flag you're going to have, and this. Didn't ask people on the ground what they wanted. Yeah. They just got, this is what it is, and it's just crazy. Do you know what I mean? Just crazy.
Yeah, you know, and I think that I think education is really something that we could, you know, I think you and I are definitely on the same wavelength when it comes to that. And this is where you, the listener, can come and join us and give us your opinion. If maybe you're somebody who's a proponent of the way that this stuff goes. You know, we are going to argue. I will tell you right now, we're going to not yell at each other, but we will argue, because I do want to understand, why would we keep all this stuff hidden? What is the benefit of this? Yeah. And what's it teaching our kids? In your mind, I would love to know, what is this teaching our kids? Other than you can take and tuck away, you know, bad thing. It's kind of like cleaning your room, Joel, and pushing everything into the closet.
Absolutely. Another interesting thing, actually, while we're on this, which is missing also from education, going back to the boy's perspective, there's very little in our culture in the UK around boys' initiation, okay, and men's initiation. And I don't ever talked about this last month, I can't quite remember. And if you go look at other cultures, other countries, that research has shown that when boys get to the age of 12 to 13 years old, the brain goes through accelerated growth potential. Okay, and it's really important that at that age that the boy has a healthy, positive role model. Yeah, that they can look up to, who can influence them in a healthier way and champion their ideas, encouraging them and motivate them and blah blah blah. And if that's in place, that brain moves from potential to actually expansion. Yeah, that greater boost of growth, that go-get attitude, blah blah blah. But unfortunately, we don't do that in this country. We don't do initiation ceremonies. We don't have that in secondary school. Some people don't have positive role models. They got people like bloody Andy Tate that they look up to on social media. And what happens is, if that boy isn't given the opportunity for that potential expansion, the brain shrinks. Because it goes, why am I bothering with that? So a lot of those kids don't know how to regulate their emotions. They turn into angry kids. They don't respect anything. And it's just an absolute mess. And that really does need putting back into secondary school. And I met some people who actually work in the US and Australia, going into secondary schools, going, you've got to, if you want to do something to help your boys become better men, this is the answer. This is an initiation thing. It's not going to happen in 1 week. We need buy-in for a year. And the results they've had is massive. And then them boys are then going to have a massive impact as they get older when they become men. And the other thing which is missing as well, and this was, I didn't really have that role model when I was 13 years old. The role model I got at first, 15, 16, I didn't really have, my dad wasn't really around, so I never got a role model at 12, 13 years old. And when at 15, 16, I just had a guy who had sexual desires towards me and groomed me from a mental, emotional perspective. It weren't particularly great, my initiation as a boy to man. Do you know what I mean? And it's really important that does exist. But also as men, there's no initiation either. And initiation in a lot of cultures and histories comes at age 40 to 45. Because according to some of the cultures, you need to make a 40-odd years of errors and poor choices to then start to learn. Let's teach you to become a real man, a leader, helping other people. We don't do that. So when men meets that age in the UK of 40, 45, all they're left with is negativity and social norms that, well, you should have an house by now, you should be married, you should be doing this, da, da, da. And the rates of suicide and self-harm and divorce and all that are massive at 40 to 45. And yet in other cultures, which are not westernized, they're actually better in what they do for that initiation process. And where I'll go in with this, it's a bit of a plug, but I think it's well deserved. There's a movement called the Male Journey. And part of what they do is they do an initiation once a year. I believe they're in the UK and they're in the US. And it's the opportunity which I went on last month, which was absolutely brilliant, bringing a group of men together where you're on a beautiful place. They use a place called Perth in Scotland, yeah, where you camped in tents. And that was great. And they had periods of silence in there. They used these really out there rituals that really made you reflect and think. And you were in small council groups throughout to check back in. And honestly, I've done so much personal development professional courses. This was one of the best ones that I've ever been on, where it was for men only, where it was so well held, and yet they allowed you to feel the edges, if that makes sense, not become overwhelmed and step off the edge. And I think it's really important for more people doing those things. And what it wasn't, Zach, it wasn't like taking magic mushrooms and cocktail drinks and going, ooh, and whipping each other with bamboo or screaming in each other's faces or punching each other or jumping in ice baths or jumping in hot saunas. Well, that's great if that's for you. I'm not knocking that. But for me, it didn't need all that crap. It needed men being men to discover what it is to be real men. And it was a massive part in my journey of what so much I've learned from that. And I feel if there are guys out there at 40, 45, look for something like this. Male Journey won't be the only one. There will be others. And it didn't have a massive price tag, Zach, of like what you get with some of this stuff, of $5 grand or $6 grand. It was so reasonable. And I think we need more of that. We need more stuff for our boys to actually understand the initiation, what it means for a boy to become a man between those ages of, like I said, 13 to 16. And we need more of our men to go through that initiation later on in life, whatever it is, just to stop being so bloody angry and stuck up their own asses and miserable and all the rest of it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's kind of funny because you brought up a name that, I mean, the bile on the back of my throat just gathers when you bring up those two, I don't even want to call them men, but those two creatures. Because the truth is that, there's this fight going on with woke, okay? And that word is so stupid. It is just dumb, okay? You call it woke, I'm going to look at you and say, you know what? You just don't feel like respecting anybody. That's just it.
Yeah.
Because that's exactly what they're taking out. You are saying that you should be allowed to sit there and slur anyone when it comes to it. Blacks, women, whatever. You should be able to do that because, damn it, I'm a white male and this is what I do. I should be able to sell women because this is who we are. Bullshit. Stop. We need to teach our kids more respect. And there is a drastic loss of respect. And I think that is one thing that as fathers, Joel, we need to make sure that we are doing. Our kids need to listen to us way more than they listen to any of these stupid influencers. Okay?
Absolutely, and I completely agree with that. And the only way that's going to happen is more of the fathers going through the initiation stuff of what I said at 40 to 45, and boys going through it. And again, I know there are people lying out there. There might be some women who get offended by this stuff, but we're not saying it shouldn't happen for women as well. I'm going from a male perspective. I feel if more boys are shown what it's like to have healthy role models, to become men in that initiation process, and more men to go through that initiation process of 40, 45, that's going to make life so much easier for the women because they'll have men who respect women. They'll have men who are in touch with their emotions and don't go off the wall and beat the shit out of them or whatever it is. And it's really, really important. And I will pick up on something what you said before. What I feel is lacking a lot, do you know what I mean, is that there's almost a value system that has disappeared. Granted, Christianity is useful from the degree of giving you a value system to a point. But there needs to be a version of a value system. It doesn't have to be Christianity. And it's like, again, when I went on this initiation, its original history was based on Christian values, but it doesn't necessarily have a lot of that in it anymore. It's just got a solid value system. And I feel values are so important. And like you said, a lot of people go, I'm woke now, or no, or blah, blah, blah. They just don't have a value system anymore. And I think that can create major problems if there isn't a healthy, functioning person going on in the background, being so easily influenced by what's going on.
Yeah, you know what? I grew up as a Christian. I know the Christian God. I know Jesus. I know all that. And I don't have any problem with it whatsoever. I am not an atheist. I am not a Satanist. I am very religion curious, as a matter of fact. I respect the Muslim religion. I respect the Buddhist religion. Whatever. I love and want to learn more about all religions, Christianity. And to be honest with you, people sit there and they bash Christianity, or Muslim, for all the stuff that's wrong with and I'm going to put it in air quotes, but the militant Islam. Okay? Here's the problem. Now we are creating a militant Christian society as well, which is making it, one of my favorite bumper stickers of all time, Joel, was "God, please save me from your followers." That was one of my favorite bumper stickers I've ever. just short of get out of my way, my kid's got to pee. That was probably number one, and God, please save me from your followers was number two. But there is so much wisdom in that. God, please save me for your followers, because you know what? There's nothing about Christianity that drives me crazy except for the people who want to preach Christianity to you. They'll drive me absolutely insane.
I tell you what, when this judgment day comes and all these people do return of like Jesus, the Buddha, and Muhammad, I think they'd be gobsmacked by what they see.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I think they'll be absolutely shocked to see what the followers have become. Honestly, seriously, I don't think they would know what to do.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, if he did appear tomorrow, the followers wouldn't even recognise him. They wouldn't even recognise him.
Yeah.
That's the irony of it. Because people are so far away from that version of what man's written, they wouldn't even recognise the people it's supposed to be about.
Yeah, and the one thing that is very evident that that we forget about is Jesus was not a white man. He was from a side of the country that there were no white men. Okay? He was a dark-skinned man. So we're trying to teach people about and Santa Claus is one of my very best friends.
I love it. Yeah.
But we're sitting here telling people that basically what others are trying to teach people about is another version of Santa Claus, something that's completely made up, because Jesus was not a white man. He just wasn't.
But the other thing is interesting in Santa Claus. You see a lot of kids, what colour Santa Claus? They'll go, red and white. No, he was bloody green. He had green clothes on. It was the power of bloody Coca-Cola. Do you know what I mean? We're robbing the kids as well of what the factual things are for them to make their own decisions in life. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. He had green clothes on. He was never meant to be red and white. It's a fallacy.
Yeah.
I don't know about you. Funny enough, when I was looking down before he said it, it's August. I'm wondering, a Christmas decoration started to be put up already in the shops where you are. So I'm not surprised.
Yes.
We're 4 months away, Zach. 4 months. It's ludicrous.
On one side, you have Halloween decorations. On the other side, Christmas. Yeah.
We're in August, Zach.
No.
We're in August. What is it going? No. What's the world coming to? You know what I mean? You might as well leave up all year. We'll get to a point where we'll have this gigantic supermarkets, and a third of it will literally have fake snow dropping down. That's where you get Christmas stuff. The next aisle will be witches running around and lightning. And then the next one will be the Easter Bunny bobbing around, and then you get your Easter egg, and then the whole part with people in lovey-dovey hearts, because I don't get your Halloween, your Valentine's, and the left one will be people smacking you in the face, because that's where you get all your divorce cards from. So you can have a whole experience with my gigantic factory. It won't surprise me. You know what? We should copyright that. I think that's going to happen. That's what we need to do. That's the future. A mega store that, don't matter what day of the year it is, all seasons are available. They're just available.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere where they play Christmas music year round. I'm sorry, that ain't happening. So, by the way, I wanted to pull this out. You were talking about a place that was popular for their hats. I wonder if they built mine.
That is cool. You remind me of. You know what it reminds me of? There used to be a comedy show over here called Dad's Army. And you know what I wanted to. That's the other thing nowadays. The TV we get down now, TV channels are so PC and watered down crap. Do you know what I mean? You don't get real TV anymore, like Dad's Army or Only Fools and Horses or whatever it is, shows like they're all watered down PC shows, man. No one wants to offend anybody anymore. It's just it's trash.
I'm watching a lot of old clips from the Carol Burnett show, and they're for some reason they're all over my feed, and watching some of this stuff from the Carol Burnett show. It's no wonder why it's not on our TVs today. But I mean, you guys had some of the classic comedians that Benny Hill. You couldn't imagine Benny Hill being on TV now. Okay.
Yeah,
but
why?
Carol,
But why not, mate? Do you know why? Why not? Do you know what I mean? It's taken in jest and it's taken in humour, and it's like there used to be a show on TV called the Kumars, yeah, and that was Pakistani actors taking the mick out about what it was to be in a Pakistani culture, and they pulled this show.
I think a lot of it, Joel, is because we have. Look, the truth is that kids started watching TV because we, as parents, dropped the ball. We decided work was more important than parenting. We've decided that we are so busy that we can't do things, and we're not raising our kids well enough to understand that there is fiction and fact. My sons, from the day they were born, I let them go as far as they want. They could watch what they want. They can do whatever they want, but they needed to realize that is fiction. That is not real. And I am one that, what? I am never going to win Father of the Year, but I told my kids, you guys, I don't, look, you're okay to try anything once. It's perfectly fine, but you need to know that stove. There's there's things that are going to happen when you touch that stove, and the first is you're going to burn the hell out of your fingers. So you need to make sure that you understand that, and you get to the point of what are the repercussions of this. What is going to happen when I do this. You need to think about that before you make a choice, because Dad didn't always do that, and now Dad made choices because, we were talking about this earlier. Dad made some choices that were just so stupid. The worst decision I ever.
It's my gigantic factory. It won't surprise me. You know what? We should copyright that. I think that's going to happen. That's what we need to do. That's the future. A mega store that don't matter what day of the year it is, all seasons are available. They're just available.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere where they play Christmas music year round. I'm sorry, that ain't happening. So, by the way, I wanted to pull this out. You were talking about a place that was popular for their hats. I wonder if they built mine.
That is cool. You remind me of. You know what it reminds me of? There used to be a comedy show over here called Dad's Army. And you know what I wanted to. That's the other thing nowadays. The TV we get down now, TV channels are so PC and watered down crap. Do you know what I mean? You don't get real TV anymore, like Dad's Army or Only Fools and Horses or whatever it is. Shows like they're all watered down PC shows, man. No one wants to offend anybody anymore. It's just it's trash.
I'm watching a lot of old clips from the Carol Burnett show, and they're for some reason they're all over my feed, and watching some of this stuff from the Carol Burnett show. It's no wonder why it's not on our TVs today. But I mean, you guys had some of the classic comedians that Benny Hill. You couldn't imagine Benny Hill being on TV now. Okay.
Yeah.
But
why? But why not, mate? Do you know why? Why not? Do you know what I mean? It's taken in jest and it's taken in humour, and it's like there used to be a show on TV called the Kumars, yeah, and that was Pakistani actors taking the mick out about what it was to be in a Pakistani culture. And they pulled this show. Why did
I
they
think a
pull
lot
this
of it,
show?
Joel, is because we have. Look, the truth is that kids started watching TV because we, as parents, dropped the ball.
Yeah.
We decided work was more important than parenting. We've decided that we are so busy that we can't do things, and we're not raising our kids well enough to understand that there is fiction and fact.
Yeah.
My sons, from the day they were born, I let them go as far as they want. They could, they could watch what they want. They can do whatever they want, but they needed to realize that is fiction. That is not real, And I am one that, what? I am never going to win Father of the Year, but I told my kids, you guys, I don't look. You're okay to try anything once. It's perfectly fine, but you need to know that stove. There's there's things that are going to happen when you touch that stove, and the first is you're going to burn the hell out of your fingers. So you need to make sure that you understand that, and you get to the point of what are the repercussions of this. What is going to happen when I do this. You need to think about that before you make a choice, because Dad didn't always do that, and now Dad made choices because, we were talking about this earlier. Dad made some choices that were just so stupid. The worst decision I ever made was so I could continue to drink, and it was dumb, But, hey, Joel, before we get out of here, let me take the hat off. God, my head's gotten big, or that hat's got shrunk, one of the two. That's the hat that I ride my motorcycle with.
I love it.
But,
I love it.
Yeah, before we get going, Joel, I want to know a little bit something about Rewired for Men. Tell us who you are looking for. Tell us the kind of people that you want to talk to this next month. Tell us the clientele you're looking for.
Yeah, so in regards to Rewired for Men, my ideal men that I work with, I tend to find them in 3 different sectors. That's IT and communication, finance and investment, construction and trade. Because when you look at those industries, particularly in the UK and the US and any other country, all you need to do is look at the stats around stress, burnout, anxiety, recruitment and retention, time off work. And why is that the case of those stats so high? And the reason for that is in those industries, IT and communication, finance and investment, construction and trade, they are heavily male dominated, they are stressful, they are target driven, they're lonely, they're high pressured. And unfortunately as well, depending on the industry, you've got all the sweets of the sweet shop to use them for the wrong reasons. And what I find is things like some of the things we talked about before. Some of these guys are one-man bands, or they are in small companies, and it can be a lot of pressure on a person to carry around what they should be a real man and what they should have in their bank account and blah 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 and da da da. You know what I mean? And unfortunately, some of these men find themselves in family businesses, and that could be their partner, their brother, the sister. So it's almost like a powder keg that's ready to explode from that degree. So that's where my guys are found around that. And what's interesting about men is that we do talk. It's real. I hear it all the time. Men don't talk. Men do. Even though they might say they don't, they do. We do talk. We just talk about things in different ways. It's almost like the top of an iceberg. And what men will say, or they'll have issues around, is 3 areas in their life: money, work, and relationships. And they will say comments that stuff's going on under the water. Those are the things to listen out to. And when you hear those men, I'm not asking you to become a counsellor. I'm not asking you to try and dig in there to find out what's going on. It literally is, what can I do to help that man in less than 60 seconds? And it's as easy as going, I know this guy called Joe White. He runs this company called Rewired for Men. he's designed a self-assessment, which is based on this here, where you can scan the QR code. It's 15 questions. 15 questions, takes 5 minutes to do it, around the beliefs of money, work, and relationships. And when you fill it in, you get a copy of the results, and he sends you a copy of the results back as a report. Have a go at it, scan that QR code, have a look at his website, and get on with it. That's it. You've done your job. I'm not asking you to get into the man's business or anything like that. It's as simple as that to engage me and bring me in. The other thing what I will say as well, Zach, is that a lot of women say to me, I don't know what to do with my man. I can't engage with him. He shuts down. And what I design, you can get to it onto my website, is you see it before he does. And what that is, it's a guide designed for partners. Because a lot of the time, a man has zero awareness of the issue, or they think they're hiding it, but they're not really. So that guide is aimed at those partners who can learn a bit more about how a guy is wired and be more able to engage with him to help him out. And I think the crucial bit is why would the men want to work with me? Well, if you want to get into a place where you want reduced stress, you want to be less impacted by your own garbage and other people's garbage, you want to be more creative, you want to make healthier choices. But more importantly, where I find a lot of men lack, Zach, who I work with, prior to them working with me, is they're not present, Zach. They're not present with the people in their life that matter, the children, the partner, whatever it is. They might be physically there, but mentally and emotionally they've switched off or they're somewhere else. And so when men work with me and it's evidence-based, that's the biggest positive feedback that I get, that they're more involved in their lives. It might not get rid of the problems in their lives, but they're in a better place to deal with them and actually find their own solutions. And when men work with me, great thing what I do is I work with that unconscious mind, Zach. Because as men and women, we think we're rational people, we're really not. In the background, it's the unconscious mind that rules the roost. So I get to the root cause. In doing that as well, I don't need a story, Zach, about what happened with you with Uncle Jimmy at 4 years old. It's really not important. And because we are, as men, practical, logical, natural problem solvers, that's how I work. So what I achieve with a man, I do in hours and days, not months and years with our coaches out there. And if people want to know more about me, they can use my website, rewiredformen.com. And if anything, the biggest piece you get from it is the slogan here. The man comes back to himself. He gets his head back and the family get him back. What more can you ask for? And one thing we've been talking about before is we want you on this show. We want to get you on here as guests. We want your questions. Check out my YouTube channel, Rewired for Men. Follow me on LinkedIn, Rewired for Men. Follow me on Facebook, Rewired for Men. And give us your questions. Fill in the links in our social posts. Come on as guests. Because I love you, Zach, but it'd be great to have another person on here as well.
I agree. I think that we have a lot of fun. And it's really kind of funny because before we hit record, you and I were talking about how many times do we cover up all the important things that we discuss. And I really think that we almost avoided that today. And I don't know if that was a self-conscious thing or if we just really did it. But I think that we did a great job there. Look, I took the Rewired for Men course, okay? 3 days. It's what it was. It was 3 days, hour and a half, correct?
In total, you did the 4 hour experience. It was 2 90-minute sessions, 160.
Yeah. So it didn't take up my entire being. It didn't take up my entire life. And one of the things that we did discover were there were things that, choices that I made way back there that I was still letting hang on in my mind. And I was letting those choices block my way. And this is just something that takes and opens you up. And that's where his QR code right next to him, it can help wake you up a little bit, but then he can help you walk that path without that guilt, without that restraint.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing. Plus, I'm going to add something that he didn't add. If you get through him and you told him that you found him through Community Pay It Forward, you get to lift other people at the same time. Remember that. Joel is a Community Pay It Forward giving partner, which means every time you do business with him, you get to support people who need your support. So please, get with Joel, get with me. If you need an introduction, I'll make the introduction today. So, look, Joel, I want to thank you very much. And I do want to tell people, look, we're not bashing on anybody.
No.
You know, our voices are our voices. That's it. We believe strongly what we believe. And if you want to come on and discuss something, if you think that we're out of bounds, get on here. We're kind of grown up, and I think we can take it. You know,
I completely agree with that, mate. I do,
Yeah.
and you know, like we said, you know, it's okay to agree to disagree, and that's really important to have your own opinion. It's not saying we're right and other people wrong. You know, and that's one of the things which has started to be eroded away in society is the ability to debate and have difference of opinion. And how else are you going to adapt and learn by not doing that? Do you know what I mean?
It's ridiculous that there's no debate anymore. It's like, you know what, I disagree with you, so we're not going to talk anymore. We're going to hate each other now. That's where we're going to go. And it's like, whoa. This isn't a hate thing. This is an I don't see eye to eye with you, you know. And unfortunately, this is something that that's going, and it's just getting worse because people are, you know, that vitriol. We're holding that vitriol in, and we're making everyday choices matter when it comes to, you know, what we see on other people.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just ridiculous because honestly, this is no different than me being a fan of a different sports team.
For sure.
Okay, that is what this all equates to. Is I vote for a different team. That's it. You know, we don't have to hate each other. We can razz each other. You know, hey, whatever. That's fun. That's actually fun. That's one of the reasons why we love sports.
Yeah,
It's because we're able to sit there and go, damn Ranger fan. You know, I'm not saying it because I want to fight you.
No.
Maybe. But yeah. But no, I'm saying it because that is part of what makes life fun.
Yeah.
Makes life interesting. Having differences of opinions, Joel, that's so important. And we need to get back to where we can talk about differences and not walk away from them in hate and anger. So,
Yeah.
Joel, give them your info, my friend.
As discussed, mate, rewifemen.com, scan the QR code, complete a self-assessment, 15 questions, 5 minutes, you get your results, I get a copy, I send you an individual report back again. Loads of resources on my website to support your mental health and well-being under the further resources tab. And as we've been saying before, look at the QR code up there to find out more about the Community Pay It Forwards, and you've got the link down there. So there's lots of stuff people can get in touch.
Joel, you're just surrounded by how to get a hold of you. You're surrounded everywhere. Yeah, that's right.
Hey,
So,
I've worked on this, mate. It's looking good.
I actually noticed that because when you went to your QR code, you pointed directly to it. There wasn't
That's the
no
right way around, mate. You see, don't
Yeah,
I?
yeah. So, you know, the first time you went to your QR code, it was there.
Hey,
You know,
mate,
you
I've
were
been
right there.
working on it. I've been working on it.
So, but hey, everybody, thank you very much for joining us for another week, another month. Have a great August. Enjoy yourselves and enjoy each other. And the most important thing is get out there. If you see somebody who needs help,
Yeah.
don't walk away. Because remember, if you walk away, you're hurting not just them, but you're hurting everyone else. Because people who are left to face things alone, they face things alone, and that's a drag on everyone. So please remember to love someone out there, because someone out here loves you. For Joel White, I'm Zach Clayton. We will see you next month right here on Rewired for Men. Cue the cool ass music. So thank you everybody for joining us today for Footprints Forward. I do want to remind you, as it says right below, please make sure that you join us tomorrow for Community Impact at 8 p.m. East, where I introduce you to a brand new giving partner, Miss Robin Gilliard of My Way Om. Wonderful conversation. And we're also going to be showing you the new program as it comes to our giving partners. If you would like any information, scan the QR code above. And of course, we are always looking for volunteers and donations to help us keep going. While we're not a nonprofit, we give away 70%, no less than 70% of the money that comes in from referrals given. So we ask of you, please help support us. Let's get this up. Let's get this going. Let's make a difference. I want to thank you so very much for joining me today for Footprints Forward. Please remember to love someone out there, because someone out here loves you. And make sure you always remember that if you're not helping someone, you are hurting everyone. No one needs to ever go it alone when we all come together. Join us tomorrow night. Text me with any questions. Please remember to text me first. I am deaf in my right ear, so I need to be in a quiet place to have a conversation, and what you say is too important for me to not be able to hear you. So please text me first. And beware, chili cook-off is coming.
Warning, the brown cloud is approaching. Some will try to outrun it. Others may not be so lucky. But don't worry, it's all part of the fun at the Chili Cook-Off for Books and Board Games. Where the chili is hot, the flavors are bold, and Bear E has your back with the official Brown Cloud Preparedness Kit. Follow the plan, know your exits, and whatever you do, hold your breath, because this temporary pain is all for a great cause. Join us, laugh with us, survive the brown cloud, together at Key Largo Lounge in Greeley.
Join us November 8th at 11 a.m. for the 10th annual Chili Cook-Off for Books and Board Games at our home field, Key Largo Lounge, where our small market team is making a huge statement. Scan the code for tickets and sponsorship information.
Every day, someone in our community is facing a challenge they shouldn't have to face alone. Your business can change that. When you join the Community Pay It Forward family, your kindness becomes action, and your sales becomes hope. For as little as $20 a month, you help guide families, nonprofits, and neighbors from crisis to stability. One small step, one powerful mission, one community coming together. Join the family today. Visit the website or scan the code and become a business where people can shop with purpose and support with heart.